Hi, my name is Colin Hansen. I'm the President and CEO of AdvantageBC, which is an organization that encourages global companies to bring international activity to Canada and particularly to British Columbia. My involvement with the Asia Pacific Foundation actually goes back to March of 1983, which is a year and a bit before the Asia Pacific Foundation was even established. And I was brought in to assist a group of prominent Canadians who had a vision for establishing an organization such as the Asia Pacific Foundation. So in June of 1984, when the Asia Pacific Foundation was formally incorporated, I was asked to take on the role of Vice President of Administration and to help build the organization from scratch. I, in fact, was the very first employee of the Asia Pacific Foundation back at that time. So I was with the organization for up till 1988, and by then it had found its wings and was doing some tremendous things, which of course it's continued to do for all of these years. What we've seen over the last number of decades is that Asia has really been the driving force for the world economy. You know, Japan was clearly established as a global economic force going back to the 1970s and 1980s, but we've seen all of the other countries of the Asia-Pacific region really leading economic growth in the world today. And that's going to continue for many years to come. You know, even though we hear stories about the growth rates in China softening, it still has a tremendous impact and is still today and will lead economic growth into the future. So Canada, I think, is really in a position to play such an important role in terms of as a gateway between the Americas, both North and South America, and the Asia-Pacific region. So Canadians, I think, benefit from this relationship, and we need to make sure that we're there looking at the long-term opportunities so that we can ensure that Canadians benefit from the opportunities that are there. Well, I think in Asia, we have huge populations that are modernizing very quickly, such a tremendously fast-growing middle class. Canada has obviously the resources that many of these countries need, but we also have skills and talent. We've got education systems, we've got tourism destinations, we have technology that is being developed. And it's not just a case of Canadians saying, let's figure out what we can sell to Asia. It's actually how can we find mutual benefit in the relationships that we have between the countries of the Asia Pacific and Canada. And that's exactly the role that the Asia Pacific Foundation has played over these last 30 years, is looking at the long term, identifying key relationships in a variety of sectors, whether it's corporate to corporate, or whether it's government to government, or whether it's the academic community or the cultural communities. The Asia Pacific Foundation in many cases has been at the forefront of building the relationships that are the underpinnings of Canada's international dynamic today. Well, in the Asia-Pacific region, as we see companies that are starting to grow and wanting to go global, to reach out and establish a commercial presence in the Americas, we obviously want those companies to choose Canada. So at AdvantageBC, we are constantly trying to identify where these emerging companies are, to meet with them, to work with them over a period of years. It's not a short-term process. It's often 3, 4, 5 years before a company will make that kind of a significant strategic decision. And we will help guide them along that way and show the advantages of them coming to locate their activities in North America, to do that in Canada, and hopefully on the West Coast in British Columbia. Well, I think that Canadians have to think about the Asia-Pacific region not as the Far East, as we have historically referred to it, but as our near West. Canada is a Pacific nation, and we have great advantage that we can see of positioning Canada to be a true partner with the countries of the Asia-Pacific region. We can be a trusted supplier of goods and services and technologies. But we also, I think, can be the gateway for those countries to import their technologies, their goods, into the North American and South American markets. So we have a lot to gain by this, but we really have to take that long-term strategic approach, which the Asia Pacific Foundation is well known for, if we're going to truly reap those benefits. I think that over the 30 some odd years that the Asia Pacific Foundation has been in existence, they have really reached out to build those strategic relationships from the get-go. And so today, whether you're working in a corporate environment or education or cultural or government, chances are the Asia Pacific Foundation has been nurturing relationships for all of these years that could be of huge benefit to your particular organization, and to make sure that, that Canada as a whole can benefit from the great work the Foundation has done over this period of time.